Featherston, or Kenneth or Cotton to family and friends, was the seventh of 10 children of James and Mattie Featherston. He was born March 27, 1925, and passed away 77 days before his 92nd birthday. Preceding Kenneth in passing were his 5 brothers and 2 sisters, Floyd, Pete, Henny, Red, Coy, Alfred, and Alma. Kenneth is survived by his 2 sisters, Betty and Joanne. The Featherston family remained close throughout the years and visited each other often, with brothers and sisters traveling to Texas, California, and Arizona. Whether it was a vacation, a reunion, or sometimes a surprise visit, they always kept alive the love and affection they felt for each other. Watch here when Betty and Jokey surprised Cotton for his and Mary's 70th wedding anniversary. In 1944, when he was 19 years old, Kenneth joined the Navy and married Mary Beth Renfro. Listen as Kenneth talks about his induction in the Navy and his marriage.
When we was inducted, well, first we went into Abilene and had physical, and we got our assignment, mid-corps, to join the Navy. And we didn't have any plans, but they had a Navy, Army, and Marine guy there, and they asked me. I was ahead of Coy, 4 numbers, I think. I was 6'4" and he was 6'8", 8'4", 5'9", 6'4", and they asked me what I wanted. I don't think the Marines were interested in me or Coy. It was too. Then I probably didn't weigh over 120 pounds, and I told him Navy, and then I found out Coy told him Navy too. I don't know whether he knew where I was going or not. We hadn't talked about it. I didn't know we were going to have a choice. Although they just put us where they wanted us. And then old Joe Adams, he was there. He's in that book there. It shows him as going in May, but that wasn't right. They got that wrong. He went in April, same time we did. He was in the same company we were in. We was only 3 Mill County boys, I think, in that company. Yeah, when we was inducted, we come home for 2 weeks, and then we got our orders, and we caught a train. I got off the train in El Paso and missed the train, but I didn't get back in time. And so I went and found me some MPs and turned myself in, and then they put me on another train coming through, and went into Los Angeles, and some shore patrol met me there, put me on a bus down to San Diego, and when the bus got down there, shore patrol met me there and put me on a local bus out to the training site, and I got out there about daylight, I think, and luckily I caught up with my bunch, but I was in trouble before we got to the Navy. They never said nothing. I guess they figured they had enough problems without messing with me. I looked in the paper in San Diego, and this people was advertising as going to Dallas and wanted riders. It didn't cost us very much. And I got a hold of them, and the next day they picked me up. But I had to get off to Abilene and catch a bus on into Brownwood. And then Mary and I caught the bus on to Goldwood. When Mary and I got married, I might have told you this, she was in she was working in the Brownwood Hospital as an aide. Had married, she was bound to get married. Well, Miss Rimrow said, well, can't get no marriage license today. The courthouse is closed. And Mary said, oh, this lady that was the clerk, Mary had worked for her cleaning, I forget what her name was, cleaning the house 2 or 3 days a week. I didn't work for her a couple of days a week anyway. She got a hold of her and she met us down there. Daddy and Mama, I was if you were 18, parents didn't have to sign, see, I was already 19. But Mary, she wasn't but 16, so her mother had to sign. That gal was bound to get married, I'll tell you. We went down to Flomita. Floyd and Emily was living there then, and Floyd wasn't home. Emily and Billy Ray were. That wasn't the night we got married. We stayed there at the Sailor Hotel the night we got married. And then we drove down to Emily's. And we stayed out the house. I don't know how Mary, I never heard her complain any, but we didn't even have an outside toilet. You had to go down to brush. A lot of good brush there close to the house.
In 1946, Kenneth and Mary packed up what belongings they had and headed out west. Kenneth had a brother living in California who was a painter. When I asked him why he moved to Arizona instead of California, he smiled and said, well, because I married Mary Beth Renfro. It seems her 3 sisters and a brother working around the copper mines of Arizona trumped Kenneth's brother in California. They arrived in Miami, Arizona in August of 1946. Kenneth worked in the copper mines as a laborer, a teamster, and finally as an operating engineer. In the late 50s, he was offered a position as a business representative for the operating engineers Local 428. Kenneth worked his way up the union ladder, each advancement marked by a move to a different city. In 1962, he was transferred to Flagstaff, Arizona, where he was the primary business agent on the Glen Canyon Dam project. 3 years later, in the summer of 1965, he was promoted to District 2 representative in charge of the Tucson office. In 1973, Cotton, as he became known to his friends, was promoted to District 1 representative in charge of the Phoenix office. Kenneth was elected as the business manager of Local 428 for 2 3-year terms and retired in 1989. Although a man's career advancements represent only a portion of his life achievements, it is still remarkable that Kenneth went from a farmer's son who didn't finish high school to the elected leader of one of the state's largest unions in its time. Sidney Poitier once said, "The true measure of a man was how well he provided for his children." By Mr. Poitier's measurement, our dad was a giant of a man. Dad didn't stop with us either. His kindness and generosity to his grandchildren was almost limitless. For the next few minutes, take a journey with us and see our dad, our papa, our great opa, through the eyes of his family, and remember with us all the happiness and joy he brought to this world.
still on? Thought I better leave a message in case I couldn't get you. Love you. Bye.